everyone to the first episode of Full Spectrum Living with CBD. I'm Meredith, your co-host, and I am here with Jessica, joining us from Spokane, Washington, and Adrienne joining us from Lexington, Kentucky. I'm so excited to be on this call with you guys today and on this episode. It's awesome. So I thought we would start off today by talking a little bit about your story and how you came to work with CBD and hemp. So Adrienne, maybe you want to kind of give us a little bit of the background.
Yeah, absolutely. It was by sheer need, to be perfectly honest. So our son at age 3 had his first seizure, and it caught us completely by surprise. My husband and I were in the kitchen on a really snowy, icy day, making breakfast, going about our day. And we heard our oldest son, who was 6 at the time, he just kind of yelled out and he was like, "Mom, Colton fell down." And so not knowing what was going on, we ran, over, and we see him face down in front of the front door, and he was seizing. We'd never seen anything like it. It scared the daylights out of us. We did everything wrong. My husband put his fingers in his mouth, all the things that now they caution you not to do with people who are having a seizure. Our 6-year-old went and hid. He was frightened. I'm on the phone with paramedics and firefighters, just in tears. And so we got him to the hospital. They start doing tests on him, and they ask the question, did the fall cause the seizure, or did the seizure cause the fall? Honestly, we didn't know. I mean, it was the first thing that we'd seen. We hoped it was going to be the last, and unfortunately it wasn't. He's very quickly progressed from 1 seizure to hundreds within that week and had no idea what was going on. And so we went on this pharmaceutical roulette, and we started trying all different types of pharmaceutical products. And with those came so many side effects. Mm-hmm. The first being rage. I mean, it was to the point where my husband and I wanted to get a shirt for him that said, "Trust us, it's because he's medicated." Because it really looked like he was just a child who was completely out of control. We used to call him the Incredible Hulk. And he was very mild-mannered and happy before, and he just got really aggressive. And then from there, we tried other medications that led to cognitive delays, inability to regulate body temperature. He stopped smiling. He stopped laughing. And that still to this day brings tears to my eyes. And because you don't realize how much that is a huge part of who your child is until it's gone, until you can't see it, until you can't experience it. And so we started looking for better options. We thought, this is crazy. One time we got him within hours of organ failure, so we had to stop all pharmaceuticals immediately, which is harmful in and of itself. And so we started looking. We tried ketogenic diets, and then we found cannabis that doesn't get you high, right? People were moving their kids across the country to medical marijuana states looking for this product, this marijuana that doesn't get you high. So in our research, honestly, my husband, I credit all that to him, his reading and researching and really looking into things. And that's when he found out that it's not marijuana, it's hemp. So we started advocating for the legalization here within the state of Kentucky. We didn't want to uproot our family and move across the United States. Of course, more power to those parents who do that. But we wanted to affect change here. And so we did. And because of that, when hemp was legalized in 2013 here in Kentucky, followed up by the federal farm bill of 2014, we started farming hemp. We were one of the original companies given a program to farm in 2014. But Fast forward to today, there's so much stuff that goes in between there. But fast forward today, our son Colton, he's now seizure free. He's pharma free. He just takes our products. He's able to play sports that he wants to. He can sweat and regulate his body temperature. He's right on grade level. He is a very normal, healthy, fully functioning 14-year-old stinky boy.
That's incredible. That must have been such an emotional ride for you guys to go through all of that and to not be able to have somebody provide you with a solution.
It was really scary. And, we started looking and reaching out to other parents. And sadly, people talk about CBD being the wild, wild west now. And yes, I'll agree with them to some point, but it was even more so then. Parents were being shipped products that were like 100% straight THC, or that had absolutely no CBD or therapeutic properties, or they were just having their money taken and not receiving any product at all. Wow. So we
lots of money as well. The pricing then was a lot higher.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we wanted to be that safe place for parents, and then it's just grown beyond that.
That's an incredible, incredible story. And I'm so glad. It sounds like you have so much knowledge and such a heart for what hemp is really able to do for people. And we're going to talk in a little bit about, the show and what you're hoping to create here and why people are going to want to tune in. But first, let's hear from Jessica, how you got involved with Bluegrass Hemp and exactly what it is that brought you to this opportunity.
Sure. Yeah. So another personal story, Adrienne kind of touched on some families that moved to Colorado to find treatments for their kids. And we were borderline almost one of those families. So my sister-in-law, who is now 16, her name is Paige. She was essentially one of the first clients of Bluegrass Hemp Oil. And it was basically with Paige, she has autism spectrum disorder and really at the time, years ago, violent rages that were 3 or 4 times a day. I mean, at least. And the intensity of those rages got to a point where we were really fearful of what happens when she's a teenager, when she is bigger than her mom, who is a petite person. And we already at age 6, 7, 8 were really struggling to maintain her behaviors and keep her from hurting herself or us. Going to really extreme lengths to try and keep her safe. But it was just seemed like such an uphill battle that we honestly were just really desperate for anything. We had gone the pharmaceutical route as well. And I think our point of kind of realizing something just wasn't right was, she had the rages naturally, but a lot of the pharmaceuticals brought out rages even more so for her. She lost her smile too. I mean, it was, you would walk in a room and she didn't even respond. It was just, she didn't register that anyone was even there half the time. And so we took her to a psychiatrist appointment one day, and she literally pulled out a list of pharmaceuticals and read all of them and asked, had you tried this? Have you tried that? And we had tried every single option on her list. And at that point, we just said, forget it. And these pharmaceuticals have brought out the worst in her. We still battle the rages, and now we battle the side effects like weight gain or nausea or, just so many different things. And so we got desperate as well and temporarily went out to Colorado to be with some family members there to try our hand at obtaining cannabis for her. And, we weren't familiar with the alternatives, and needless to say that just didn't go well. It wasn't a good suit for her at the time. We came back and advocated when we found out that hemp was an option, and we started advocating, and my family met the Adrienne and Bill, the owners, and it was just kind of a journey from there. And so to fast forward, after it took about 2 months to see results for Paige, once we were able to actually get a product, which, Adrienne mentioned we had one of the first licenses. We also have one of the first products, and that was a really big deal at the time because there was a lot of stalling from certain companies to try and influence the market, and we needed it. So we had one of the first products. Paige was one of the first clients, and 5 years later, she's pharmaceutical free as well. She's had one rage in 5 years, one single rage in 5 years. She's fully verbal. She potty trained herself in 2 months, which was astonishing because we had basically given up on that. Didn't think it would be possible. She smiles and she laughs, and, she's boy crazy, and she's got friends, and she's just, she's got hobbies, and she loves animals, and she has a quality of life that we knew was not an option at one point. We just knew that wasn't an option for her, and now it is. And it's just been a lifesaver for not just her, but the entire family. I mean, I was a hired bodyguard essentially for her, to assist her full time to keep her from hurting herself. And so anyways, it's impacted not just her life, but mine and everyone in the family. And we're just grateful for BHO.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I think, I mean, I don't even probably really need to ask why you guys want to have this podcast, why you want to have this show, but I want to hear it in your own words. So what are you hoping to share here as we record these and as we share them with people in the community? What do you have that you're so excited about?
Honestly, I just want to bring answers to people. There's so many questions, and we have 2 retail locations, and we talk to consumers on the phone all day, every day, or even on the streets. And honestly, the questions are pretty much the same, but they do get more and more detailed. And a lot of the information that you can find on the internet is very confusing. It's meant to be confusing. Honestly, some of it, in our opinion, leads consumers in the wrong way and in the wrong direction. So honestly, just kind of a safe place for people to come and listen, to hear why we do things the way that we do, to not necessarily, they don't have to go to our website and buy, of course, hallelujah, that'd be fantastic, we love that. But to at least educate them in their purchases, right? So that they know exactly where they're putting their hard-earned money and what expectations they can put on a product.
And I'd like to add to that, I really think hope as well is a big thing, because, for families who've been in our situation, it feels really discouraging for the future, and to be able to provide more access and more information and more resource to people, because we know how dramatic it can improve, some people's lives. And there's a lot more out there that it could do that for them, and they haven't tried it yet because of fear or confusion. And so, I mean, I know that our stories are not at all the only ones this profound. And so I think it's a really good time to be in the industry, to be able to, share this with people.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more of those stories, because I know you guys just have helped so many people. So tell me, who's a good candidate for hemp products? Who's a good candidate for the remedies and the things that you all have come up with? Who are you helping?
I mean, honestly, I'd say anybody and everybody, whether you have a symptom or a condition that you are looking to seek relief from, or if you're just looking to prevent the onset of symptoms or a condition that may be in your family. I think everybody is kind of a good person to try a CBD. Everybody has an endocannabinoid system, and it can fluctuate. So why not? It's not going to hurt you. You may find that you're sleeping better, or that you're just a happier person, even if you don't have a condition that has, that's very rooted in inflammation or autoimmune.
I certainly agree. I think when we, first started out on this journey, it was looking for those who were ill and that other options had let down. But the longer we've been studying what happens and why it happens, the more encouraged I am just to suggest everyone I know should try it and take it for preventative means, if nothing else, because I think everyone has at least some stress management issues from time to time. And for that, it's extremely helpful. But also, as a neuroprotectant, its ability to help fight off potential Alzheimer's or dementia conditions is being really well documented and studied right now, and looks to be like a great reason that everyone should take this product. Just protect yourself and your neurological system from the environment.
So if I'm understanding you guys right, there's like a kind of a remedy or treatment component, but then there's also a huge prevention component, and we'll have plenty of time to dive into that. But I don't know that I knew that, right? I don't know that, that was something that I knew coming to this, and I know I'm going to learn so much from both of you. Maybe you can just really quickly kind of give us like hemp 101, like what's the difference between hemp and what's the difference between marijuana? What's the difference between marijuana and its ability to get you high, and hemp and it's not going to have happen? I mean, are there just some basics that would be really helpful for people to know that you guys can share?
Sure. Yeah, Adrienne, you mind?
No, yeah, go ahead.
I'm like feeling encouraged. Meredith and I live in a legal state where there's full access to cannabis of all kinds here. And I think that it's kind of interesting to use that perspective to explain it, but it's basically, it's not like a hemp or marijuana. I think it's it's cannabis, and cannabis comes in many different forms, and we specialize in the low THC cannabis variety that is, of course, called hemp. And it's more dominant in a particular cannabinoid called cannabidiol. So it's really rich in CBD, and that's cannabidiol. It's got trace amounts of other active cannabinoids, and it really mimics cannabis marijuana in many ways. But it essentially just it's all the same. It just depends on how you grow it, and within, there's many different genetic varieties. But when you consume a product that's richer in CBD than THC, then it most likely is not going to provide any altering experience, especially when you have one like ours that is hemp derived, that has only trace amounts of THC. That's just doesn't get you high, doesn't impair you. There's debate on how you use the term non-psychoactive, because it does have anti-anxiety and antidepressant like effects, and so that's psychoactivity, but it's not intoxication and it's not impairment. It doesn't impact your ability to think critically or operate machinery or anything like that. So, with a high CBD strain, you don't get that impairment. And that's often one of the first questions that we get. And it really just offers the body support through one of your key systems, the endocannabinoid system. And in supporting that system, you can often achieve, balance in the body, and that can result in reduced autoimmune symptoms or reduce anxiety or depression, improve sleep, reduce pain, decrease digestive discomfort or nausea. There's just a lot that it does for the body, because it's just promoting your internal regulator, which is the endocannabinoid system, to function better. So it's really just a support system to help your body help itself. And that in turn means there's a lot of benefits for a lot of people.
Awesome. So Jessica, you have a ton of knowledge. It's just really coming to light right now, and expertise in this area. So how have you developed that over time? Like what has helped you to become so knowledgeable about these products and how they help people?
Personal interest is one, probably. So I lived in Colorado years ago, right after decriminalization there, or whatever it was. But, and so that kind of, sparked interest. And I have a health background, studied physical therapy, and worked in healthcare for 10 years. And I think just the merging of those two interests, I don't know. I saw how it worked in my sister, and it was just kind of a curiosity from then. But I've been really fortunate that Adrienne has supported that learning as well by sending me to different courses, which Adrienne also is a big expert on this. I mean, so
Thank you, Jessica.
Yes. I mean, she certainly is. So, I mean, we've gone to courses intended for cannabis medical professionals, and we've gone to conferences. We'll be going to a conference next month, an international one for cannabis as medicine, and enrolled in some online courses, a healer training program, which has been really beneficial, and then just reading and learning and growing, and it's been years of that, so it kind of accumulates over time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So if someone wanted to know a little bit more about your work and what you're doing with Bluegrass Hemp Oil, where would they go to find that information?
Yeah, so definitely go to our website. So it's www.bluegrasshempoil.com. You can find, we have a blog posts there. We like to post studies and just kind of really educate people. Facebook is also a place where we're really active, and Instagram. So Instagram's going to be more pretty pictures. We're going to try to get you with funny memes. Of course, it's Instagram, but Facebook, we'll post studies or articles that we find interesting. And we really try to encourage people to get involved, to get engaged and ask us questions, because a lot of consumers may have questions that we haven't even thought of ourselves. So again, to your point, how do we keep becoming, keeping ourselves educated? It's through that. It's through the continuous questioning of whether it's the consumers or ourselves or the great team that we have here within our own company.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I think it's going to be fantastic to just share with you guys each week. So we're going to have an episode every single week of this show that's going to allow people to just tap into your knowledge and all the information that you've got out there to share. And I'm excited to get onto those next episodes and just learn all about this industry and all about how CBD can really help so many of us. So thank you both. It's been awesome sharing with you today. And I, again, am Meredith, the co-host of Full Spectrum Living with CBD, with our two hosts here, Jessica and Adrienne. So until the next time.
See ya.
Bye.